Live. Hey, everybody. Alan here at Bananas at Large. You can see that in that corner right there. Just want to welcome you all to our Facebook Live today. This is a first for all of us. Some of you were watching me earlier do some really silly attempts at learning how to use this technology. This guy is not the technology guy. I'm very blessed and lucky to have a team that helped me. So tonight, we're really excited and blessed and honored to have a friend, somebody who I've known for a while now, and I enjoy their company. We're going to do a takeover, they're calling it. So again, some technology things that I'm not quite aware of, but sooner than later, we need to get this person on. We're so excited to have the amazingly talented and just an amazing person. I'm so blessed and lucky to call this person a friend, Cindy Blackman Santana. And let's see if this works. I'm going to push the screen aside. Look at that magic. Hey, you. How are you?
Hi, great. How are you?
Great. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
We're so yeah, this is awesome. I mean, you know, most folks don't realize that you and I have known each other for quite a while, and this is great that for a live one, the first time to do this, you know, somebody that we can trust and have some fun with, and not worry about too much introduction and worry. So I can sort of you know, be the dork that I am, and we'll be all good. So first thing I want to start, just if you don't mind, because this happened recently, I thought maybe we'd just take a second and just give a little shout out to our brother and family member Jorge, because it was so recent and he was such a close friend of Bananas and yours and the family, and I just thought it would be great to give him a little honor here to start off with. You know, I was so blessed and lucky to have him as a friend. My family loved him, and we definitely miss him. And I just thought this was a good opportunity just to send some vibes his way, right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. I mean, he, you know, the first thing that I noticed about him before anything that translated through his spirit musically was that he was just such an amazingly gentle, kind, compassionate, and considerate person. Such a sweetheart, so just aware of everyone else's feelings, you know, everyone else's whatever we're going through, you know. He was just amazing. I'm going to prop myself a little closer, make sure. How's that? Is that better?
A little more balanced. Do we have to equalize?
Yeah. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, he was just an incredible person all the way around, you know. And then when you hear him play, all of those great vibes translated into the music that he projected. So his music was so energetic, but yet gentle and kind at the same time. So just warm, you know, the melodies that he wrote and that he played on guitar, and the chords and the songs that he wrote just felt like, you know, a big hug. I think I'm hard to be heard, so I'm gonna try to adjust this a little bit. Okay, guys, let me know if that's any better.
I can hear you fine. Can everybody else hear okay?
Okay, I was getting some messages saying that I'm not heard well, so I want to be as close to the mic as possible. I don't have a microphone set up. It's just my I'm a novice here too. I got my phone going, and you know, I've been doing a whole lot with the phone lately. It's amazing what you can do with a phone. But yeah, George, you know, an outstanding individual. Yeah. In all respects, you know, much love and respect to him, and of course, we wish him well and on his new journey. We all miss him. You know, all of the Santana family is so close, you know, that you know, it's just, you really feel it. It's like, you know, one of your limbs has traveled on, but we know that energy doesn't die, you know, it just transforms. So he is still, you know, his energy still exists and he's still here, but he's, you know, in another frequency. He's on another channel.
Yeah, I don't know if you it's interesting. Most people don't realize, and now that he's gone, it's not like I'm disclosing something, but his house was literally across the street from the store. You know, he would walk, you know, we would walk back and forth to each other's house, and when he was rehearsing or playing, we all could hear him. We would all just be out hanging out, and it was so much fun. And we'd be like, oh, he's playing the Strat, and he's, you know, and then he'd come running over like, did you guys hear that? It sounded great. So I'll miss that. And literally every time we go by with the kids, he would always have a gift for them or a toy or a story or something. And they ask about every time we drive by, they bring him up. So anyway, I just thought we could at least give a little honor and props to him and, start off with some good vibes on that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So speaking of vibes and things, that I thought maybe, we were just talking about the quarantine blues. Your video that you did with Narda and everybody. And first off, I got to say the flower microphone is awesome. But let's talk a little bit about that, like the whole quarantine pandemic, all the things going on with Black Lives Matter, the stress, the anxiety. There's so much going on in the world right now, and I thought, great thing that you always find silver linings and things. Every time you and I talk, every time I've heard you do an interview, you find ways to tell to look for the positive in things. So I thought maybe, what do you think we can learn from what's going on right now?
What I see is that, we have to understand that humanity is still at a very immature stage, because, as much advancement as we have technologically, spiritually and emotionally, and in terms of recognition of the cosmos and ourselves as one, we're very much in need of evolvement in those areas. We have a lot of technical skills, we have a lot of technical involvement, evolvement, but in terms of other areas, we really need to heighten our frequency, raise it, because
right.
From my perspective, there is one race, and that's the human race, with race variance, and I can go to any flower garden and see a whole patch of lilies that looks beautiful, or a whole patch of roses that looks beautiful. But how much more gorgeous is it when you see a bed of flowers with many different flowers, and with greenery, with foliage, it's just much more varied and beautiful. And to me, that's what the human race is. And so, until we learn to look at everyone we see as another us, another you, another me, another we, then we won't respect the divinity in someone else, and it starts, my friend Saida Garrett and of course the wonderful Michael Jackson, their song, Man in the Mirror,
right.
It starts with you. So we have to recognize the divinity in ourselves. And once we see that, then we can now recognize the divinity in the next person and in every person that we see. And when we do that, that's when we're not going to be hurting each other, because we're going to realize that when we hurt someone else, we're hurting ourselves.
Right.
So I think, if we can take that from this situation as one of the things that we can not only ponder, but take this really interesting pause, because this kind of pause has never happened in the history of this world,
right.
Not as we've known it, and we've never seen a pause like this in this era, so if we can take that and not only ponder it, but put that into action in our hearts, and mainly in our thoughts, because everything starts as a thought in mind.
Yeah.
So if we can put that up here and really start to integrate that, then when we get to the other side of this, then we'll be able to birth a whole new way of treating each other, a whole new way of living, a whole new frequency and vibration, because we're going to raise it.
Yeah.
And if we're doing that, then the consciousness level is going to be raised. And then, hopefully at a point we won't have to have conversations like this.
Right.
But we have to see that, and we have to recognize that, and we have to really focus and be conscious of that, and understand, what all of this means.
Yeah, I think there's, I'm always try to find the silver lining. Where's the positive? There's got to be something good out of everything, And I think my favorite saying so far is that with the COVID-19 quarantine, like Mother Nature put us in a timeout, and That was good.
Right.
What I think what I'm seeing too is from even the COVID-19 thing to the Black Lives Matter, at least there's some semblance of a lot of us are rechecking ourselves and just how we communicate, how we look at each other, how we interact, and maybe checking ourselves and saying, hey, has been what I've been doing that I thought was okay, is that really okay? And I like that we're all sort of having a moment to, if we're at least open to the concept of checking ourselves and maybe trying to do a better job. Well, hopefully that's the silver lining right now too, that we're all, those that are open-minded to it, because there's some that aren't, I guess. But yeah,
Right. There's some that aren't, but one of the hardest things to do is to look at yourself in the mirror and objectively analyze, just take your first person out and objectively analyze yourself.
Right.
In third person, and take a look at what Cindy's doing. Take a look at what Alan's doing. How is Cindy thinking about this? Is that really, helping, or is that hurting?
Right.
So then, we have to be fair and, of course, gentle and kind with ourselves, as though we're teaching a baby, but we still have to take that moment to learn and to, raise the frequency of our thoughts.
Right. Yeah, it's hard sometimes to it's hard to admit when you're wrong. It's hard to it's easy to justify what you do. My father was a professional at justifying everything, and so it's ingrained, and it's like you have to sort of go, wait, no, I can do better, and I could be more selflessness and better for this neighbor or this person, or don't rush to judgment. It's so easy to do that, and I think this is a great time right now where we have that opportunity. There's I saw a great sign at a venue. It said, "Life happens and music helps," and I think maybe now we are, like with your video and a lot of the other things going on. This is a great time where maybe music can help us elevate.
I believe it does. Music is sacred. Sound is sacred, and so just singing around the house or dancing around that, it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So that's something that might be looked at as a small thing to a lot of people, but it's raising your vibration.
Right.
So to me, it's very important. Music is key, I believe. I think it's very healing, and the more we embrace that and respect that, the more we'll understand that, yes, you know what, before you even step out of your door, you have great tools to
Right.
already help raise the vibration. And you don't need to buy anything, you don't need to do anything. Although, if you're going to really produce music, you got to do things like, I just got that beautiful order from you from Bananas. I'm so excited about it. So, but yeah, we have tools, and
Right.
we if we think about that and realize, yeah, you know what, I'm not weak little me. I am empowered. I can do something.
Right.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. When the pandemic came down, I think, mid-March or whatever, and everything shut down, and Bananas had to shut down, and I just had to make the decision to tackle the company myself. I was here by myself for almost 2.5, 3 months, just running the place. And it was amazing. It was just so eye-opening to be able to serve these people and get them going. But it was amazing how music became so important. People were coming out of the woodworks that I had never met before. First time for ukulele, first time for guitar, digital pianos. It was funny, all the technology stuff, DJs, the workstations, all that went away, and people are getting back to core instruments. And the campfire, the family's going to get together and we're going to play. We're going to set up a music room, and my heart was like exploding, and it felt so great. And I think, truly for this thing where people had to, isolate themselves, music, I think, tremendously helped. Way better than a video game ever could.
Oh, absolutely. Music you're right. It's a very invigorating energy. It's like getting an injection of light, and the fact that you're telling me that people were really embracing that is so heartwarming. And I thank you. You've helped me a lot, because I'm like, well, where am I going to get this? Where am I going to get that? Alan's happening. And I get it from you. So this has really helped me out because I've been able to take this time to really get a lot of stuff done, you know? And so your help, you know, from Bananas, the stuff that you've sent me, and I have to thank you because it's really helped me get, you know, a lot of things done. So, you know, it's very important. And we all thank you for sticking to it and for being here for, you know, for us so that we have outlets to go to so that, you know, we can fill that need for creativity, that gap, you know.
We blush.
But it's true, Alan.
I just do the best we can. You know what? I'm very blessed and lucky. I have a wonderful place. I mean, our staff is incredible. I think we just have a good. Yes. I'm lucky to have a good perspective on things. You know, I was reading, you know, some things around you around how you feel about being labeled as a female drummer and how you don't want to take, you know, the idea that you're just a drummer, not female. And I was thinking about all the things over the years that you know, not only with me and Music Source, but through life, where you want to take that away and make the place more comfortable. And I always thought to myself, I never looked at customers in a different fashion, whether you're male, female, you know, gay, straight, whatever. You're just a person who wants to make music, and I want to be there, like, to partner with you. And I get excited, as you know, I get like really into it. And I was just so happy that there was that sort of energy coming back during this time. And the good news is, you know, we have a lot of young drummers, guitar players, musicians coming up now. And I think we're going to see a tremendous amount of just amazing in the next few years because these people took this moment to find music, to come back to music maybe.
Yes, and I love that. I love that. Which, you know, and it's very heartwarming as well. I use that word again because it is, and it's, you know, it feels very good because we know that this beautiful art form is going to push on. It's going to live on. This is something that we don't want to see get trampled on and forgotten about, you know. So This is really, it's inspiring to me. Yeah.
Hey, so before we get too far off in these other subjects, you know, I'm assuming that everyone knows who you are. But you know, maybe we should take a minute to just kind of cover a little bit of your history, your background. You know,
sure.
Because not to start the conversation about me, but about me. So when I was 4, and my parents would take us out in the car, we used to pass by this place, and it just said, you know, music and drums and guitar and stuff. And I just kept saying, I want to play drums, I want to play drums, I want to play drums. And so for me, it started at age 4. They put me in with drum lessons with a beautiful teacher named Cheryl Hall. She was an amazing big band drummer. Played with Chuck Flores and Roy Burns. Those were some of my teachers. And I don't know if you ever met Chuck Flores. He's interesting.
Not met him, no.
But you know, for me, that's where it started. I just knew. And where did it all start for you? Like, what was the point where you knew?
You know, according to my mom and my older sister, who is she's 6 years my senior, so she saw me when I basically came out of the womb. According to them, I started at 6 months because my sister said that one day the 3 of us were in the kitchen, and I was crawling on the floor, and I crawled over to the cabinet and pulled out a pan, and I started playing it. And my mom plays violin, so, you know, she's a musician. And she told my sister, well, that's not just noise. She's making rhythms, you know? So they were like, whoa. And my mom told me, you know, I thought you would grow out of that, but I never did. So that's when, you know, I think I came out wanting to do this. When I was about 3 or 4, I started asking for drums, and I started getting little toy kits at age 7. And got some, you know, I think I got my first student model kit, which is a step up from a toy kit. I got that when I was, I think 11, you know, and then at 13, I wanted a professional kit. And so I babysat for a summer, got my first professional kit. And, you know, anytime I listened to music, and I would raid my dad's collection. My older sister had an incredible collection. I would raid that. You know, my brother had some records. I would raid that. My uncle was a musician too. So, you know, and my mom, you know, into the classical music. But the drums in every genre always stuck out to me as, whoa, what the heck is that?
Right.
You know? So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play that energy. It was just an energy. It was like a level of excitement that was happening from that. And I didn't really know what it was. I just knew that's it. And so I could get that sound. I could pinpoint that sound in any kind of music that I was listening to. That's the energy. That's what I want to do. That right there. And then I learned what a drum set was. I'm like, oh, I'm really in love now. Forget about it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, drumming to me, it was so amazing growing up. My first one was my dad actually took 2 pieces of wood, maybe 3, and a slab of tire rubber. And he's like, here's your practice pad. Go learn.
Nice.
And my dad was always about it. If he can make it and not have to buy it, he'd make it. But
good dad and good.
Yeah, I learned a lot from him. But it turned out that, and you probably found the same. We always talk about how music affects other things, other parts of our brain. It helps with science and math. For me, it also helped. I'm old enough. Stick shift cars were still around, so for me, learning a stick shift was a piece of cake because that was my hi-hat, that was my bass drum. This was ride, this was snare, and fine, I can do this. And it was amazing how just learning independence helped me with so many things, even like basketball and other things. And drum was great for that. I love that, and I think it also logic and deduction. Because you're having to think ahead to what's going to happen while you're playing what you're doing, and incredible.
Yep.
Drummers rule.
Drummers rule. Drummers. Come on. What's better than being a drummer?
Let's talk about some influences. I know you told me a long time ago, and you maybe not even remember this, but you gave me an assignment, and you said if ever anything, Tony Williams came up. So cymbals and stuff, like that was an important thing. I kind of remember all of that, and I think I remember once sending you some literature on some cymbals that are coming out, and you're like, I already got them. And it was like, so who are your go-to influences?
Tony Williams, of course, he's my ultimate hero. And I'll say him first because you mentioned him. Tony Williams is like the culmination of all the drummers that I love the best, and he is a culmination because he studied. He was born with a talent, but he didn't rest on his laurels. He didn't rest on that. He developed himself, and he put this to use. He put this to use, and of course he put that to use. So, he came from the whole history and gamut of jazz drummers, everybody from Baby Dodds to Kenny Clark and Sid Catlett to Chick Webb to Art Blakey, Max Roach, Philly Joe Jones, Roy Haynes, Elvin Jones, Louis Hayes, all those drummers. He came from all those cats, Buddy Rich. And he put all of that into himself. He came out with the guy that we all know and love, or that I know and love anyway.
Yeah. What I did? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so, it's amazing, to see how he did that, very, very intelligent. I was watching him at the Blue Note one time, and 2 drummers were on the thing, Billy Cobham's band and Tony's band.
Wow.
And Tony played and just really I won't even say what he did, but it was just incredible. He smoked it. It was just, his level was so amazing that just from the sound of his drums, the choice of notes, the veracity of notes, the impact, the dynamics, the technical skill, and the creativity and the concept, just everything was so much above everything else. It was just amazing. Tony's just on a whole nother level than everybody. And it was, in my opinion, it was, really apparent.
Wow.
What a level he was on. And
Right.
he played the set, and it was so scorching. I was just sitting there looking at the drums. Of course, I went to every set. So, they were turning the club over, but I was just staying there, looking at the drums. And there was a gentleman that I noticed out of the corner of my eye to my right. And he was walking over. He had a briefcase in his hand and a suit on. And he looked like he just came from Wall Street. Now, this was the first set. So he probably came there thinking, I'm going to go to a jazz club and, hear some dinner music, have a little dinner, and then go home or whatever. So he picked up his briefcase. He's walking over, and he looked and saw me. And he looked and he said, excuse me. And I'm like, huh? Because I was just, really stupefied by what I just heard. So I was just focusing on the drums, just looking at the smoke coming from him. And he said, that guy on drums, he didn't even know who Tony was. He said, that guy on drums, do you think he's intelligent? Do you think he's an intelligent guy? And I just looked and I said, there's no possibility that you could ever play anything close to that and not just intelligent, but a genius.
Right.
Absolutely, he's intelligent, he's a genius. I said, not many of those guys exist. And he went, oh, like he was really kind of relieved. I think he felt like, wow, if he's doing that, what about me in my world, because he was on such a high level, no matter what your world is, he was just on such a high frequency. And I think that guy was maybe even just comparing himself to that. He was like, oh, okay. He was relieved when I said, yeah, he's a genius.
He's human. We all can get there. I thought it was interesting when I was just listening to an album Tony did, which I thought was such a right turn. He was on the Public Image generic album, right? With Ginger Baker, they alternated in different songs. And for Tony to go from just jazz and be hired to go and do this, Johnny Rotten's new band, Public Image, and slammed. I mean, he hit hard. Like, I thought the tracks were the Ginger tracks, and it was Tony. And I mean, he laid it in there, and it sort of reminded me a little bit of your parallel of coming from jazz over to the Lenny thing and having to slam hard.
Wow, thank you. I think, one thing about Tony that people forget, he changed music so many times. And when he left Miles Davis in 1969, he then started Lifetime, which was the first. He innovated, named, and stylized the genre that he called jazz rock.
Right.
So that came from Tony. Tony did it before Miles. He did it before Mahavishnu, because Mahavishnu was in his band, the wonderful John McLaughlin, who we all love.
Right.
And he did it before Return to Forever. He played with Stanley Clarke and Chick Corea with Stan Getz's great band, so those guys all played together. But Tony is the first one that started jazz rock, and people tend to not remember that. So he's not always credited for that, but he should be, because when Miles Davis heard that band,
right,
he wanted that band to be his band, and it didn't work out. But what he did was he took as many of Tony's band members as he could. So he took Larry Young and he took John McLaughlin, and then you got Rich's Brew coming,
right.
So Tony really changed music, so all that stuff that came, after Tony created Lifetime with Larry Young and with John McLaughlin. After he did that, all these other bands sprung up, and they weren't necessarily jazz rock bands, because Tony was so studied that it was exactly that, jazz and rock melted together. You know what I mean? There was no room for saying, okay, it's not this and that. And he did add other things, like you can hear Brazilian music in it, you can hear Indian music in it, you can hear a bunch of different stuff in it, but Tony started that, so I say thank you to Tony, not only for creating Lifetime, but for opening that portal, because a lot of other people, went through that portal that he opened.
Right.
So then we got this whole other thing, so for him to be able to slam on a track like that, it doesn't surprise me, because he started slamming like that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you just sort of see that, how far he took everything. We get to see Terry Bozzio quite a bit. He's from around here, and he's a friend, and he does master classes with me. And every now and then we go to dinner and we just chat. And that was one of you basically summed up what he said about Tony Williams too, is that all the crazy things that Terry does, are basically foundations from Tony to him. Like, I wouldn't be doing any of this if there wasn't that. And
yeah,
and I mean, God knows Terry took things into a whole other place.
He's quite a guy. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm glad he says that, and I appreciate that in him, because he's right. We have to look and thank, the people that we come through and their innovations, and if we are remembering that in the best way, in terms of, and you might not like everything that a particular person does, but if you're getting something from that lineage, it's beautiful to acknowledge that. And also for the younger generations, so that they know that, these great people that they're seeing didn't just pop out of nowhere. You
Right.
know, they have foundation, and
Right.
that's part of what makes them great.
Yeah, it's
And Tony, I have to say, he listened to a lot of different music.
Yeah.
You know, he studied a lot of different music. People say, well, you know, did Tony like rock? Did he like all that? Did he like? Yeah. You know, in the 60s, he had a Beatles poster on his bedroom wall.
Yeah.
You know, that's legendary because he mentioned it in an article. So it's even written, you know, he had a poster.
Yeah.
So he liked that stuff, you know, so he wasn't selling out. He was being honest, and he was fusing and creating. And that's what I loved about it most. He was creating.
There's a video that Terry shared with me of the US Festival, and he said Tony Williams was there almost every night watching all the rock bands and stuff. Like, he was a fan. And he said,
I'm not surprised.
He said it was intimidating knowing he was there while he was playing all that. But I thought that was, what a cool story. Like, that he was just into the whole gamut of that day and that time. And
I love it.
You know, you mentioned influencing the younger generations, and you know, one of the things that I stress with my daughter Roxanne is, you know, every day we talk about that there's nothing she can't do. You know, and I'm sad I have to kind of do that still in this world, but
yeah.
Right, you know, we could be realistic. You know, the world for women is still not quite there yet, and so for me to have to, you know, I want her to know there's, you know, as I told you, she's fearless. I love my daughter, that there's nothing she won't do. She'll try anything. But I, you know, I do like to reinforce the fact that, you know, there's really nothing you can't do. And so, you know, we've seen some of your videos. We talk about, even though she's more ukulele and singing, my son Rex does all the drums. But it's good for her to see these things. You know, we showed her like Mo Tucker. I think that's fun for her to see. You know, somebody do an alternative rock kind of Velvet Underground thing, and of course Sheila E. That's always for her to see somebody that energetic as well. And so I think it's good to you know, for the younger generation to see that there's no limitations based on, you know, anything, you know, race, gender, all of it. And I think it's awesome that you inspire so many people to do that. You know, even though I know you're not a female drummer, we still have to acknowledge that, you know, we have to tell these people that it's okay. Don't be afraid. Go play.
Right. That's right. And she's a fortunate girl that she has a father who, you know, embraces her fearlessness and is willing to guide that. You know, some people want to squelch that. Some people want to squelch it. They like, you got some fire, you know, we need to put some water on that fire. No. We need to direct the energy of that fire so that you can use it in a constructive way, and you can, you know, raise your own vibration and create the way that you see that you're feeling. But, you know, let's just constructively, you know, guide that. So she's a fortunate young lady, and you know that energy that you have translates to the energy that you give off when you're in the store, you know, in your shop, you know, Bananas. When we were at the radio station together, I found that venue was really beautiful. Really, I'm serious. I was watching it. I was like, dang, this guy's energy is just so giving and so amazing, because I saw how you interacted with everyone, you know, with Carlos and I, and then with everybody at the radio station, you know, and I thought, wow, this is a giving person, you know. He's really aware and conscious of all these energies that are around, you know, and you weren't being phony. You were just being true, and you were just being, like I said, aware. You know, it's wonderful. So we need that energy. It's a good vibration. You know, and the younger generations, they need that. You're right. They need to know, especially now, you know, with all this craziness, people are, you know, locked in at home. So it's easy to get into this, oh no, you know, I feel like I'm being crushed because, you know, everybody's stuck at home, you know, and that's kind of frustrating, you know, not kind of, it's definitely frustrating, you know. So to have the guidance of someone who says, you know what, that's still your energy. We're just going to take that energy and direct it into this. You know, we're going to direct it here. We're going to direct it there. You know, what is it that you want to do? Okay, let's direct it there. You know, let's guide this so that you can do these things, you know, but that's so your energy is creating something that's a positive.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I mean, since we're talking about each other, I get the same from you. I mean, every time we talk, it's so, you know, I feel like, inspired and uplifting. I feel like I have somebody who's also looking at the world in a hopeful and positive place. When you were on the radio, you know, it's always nice to hear Carlos talk. Your vibe was amazing. You translated great through there. My friends, you know, Serendipity did a great job. And of course, when Carlos wanted to play and the amp broke. Oh, wasn't my amp.
You know what he said? He said, "That's all."
Yeah, it was great. He took the acoustic guitar and we went from there. But I was like, I should have brought an amp. Why didn't I think about bringing it? Okay, so I have to ask. So one of the first drum albums I ever had was Buddy Rich and Gene Krupa, the drum battle. Who is it? Is it Buddy Rich or Gene Krupa for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Buddy, I love Gene. Respect Gene. He's amazing. You know, first rock star drummer. Gotta give Gene his props. You know, his props. But Buddy, to me, that man, just hands of fury.
Right.
You know how they call Bruce Lee was Fists of Fury? Hands of Fury. I'll tell you a funny story about Buddy. The first time I saw Buddy Rich, I was we're from Ohio, Yellow Springs, Ohio, very small town. We moved to Connecticut. My dad got a job transfer. We were living in Bristol, Connecticut, and there's an amusement park a couple miles, maybe 2-3 miles from where we lived. So my friends and I would walk there in the summer, so one day we walked there to, it was on a weekend, I think, I don't remember, but we walked to the amusement park and Lake Compounds. Yeah. And I don't know if it's still there, but it was there then. And so we got our tickets to go on the rides, but I heard this music coming from this building, over there somewhere, and I'm like, what the heck is that? So I go over to the building and I hear this music and I open the door to try to go in, and somebody stops me and said, hey, you can't come in. You're a minor. Because, I was like 11 years old, and they're like, you can't come in. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I hear something. And so I went around the side and I saw a window and I picked up this window just in time to see this cat doing a solo. I'm like, what the heck is that? Oh, this guy's got some hands. And I didn't know who it was. I just thought he was, and I was 11. So I just thought, some old guy on the drums with really hands.
Without hair.
Yeah. And I went to my band teacher the next day, because I was taking band at my school. I was in the 6th grade, and I go to my 6th grade band teacher, and I said, "Wow, I saw this man last night at Lake Compounds, and he was incredible. He had hands that were so fast." And he said, "Lake Compounds this weekend?" And I said, "Yeah, Sunday." They said, "That was Buddy Rich." So that was the first time I heard of Buddy Rich. I didn't know who he was. That was the first time I heard of him. Not the last, because of course I became a fan after that night. But that was that's my first time seeing Buddy Rich. And Buddy Rich was actually the first great drummer that I got to see a sneak peek of live. Wow. And I didn't watch him for very long because, I was scared I was going to get in trouble because I was sneaking looking at that. Right. But I saw long enough to see enough.
Nice. I have I'm going to quickly share my Buddy Rich story. So I had just started taking drum lessons, and not just, so I must have been, maybe I was 9 or 10, but they had just taught me how to roll a drumstick, right? How to roll it on the glass and make sure it wasn't warped, and how to look, and they, teach you how to all this stuff with the drumstick. And my drum teacher took me to see Buddy Rich play at Disneyland, and was able to introduce me to him, because she was taking lessons with, or was friends with Louis Belson, and Louis took us there. So at the time I was a kid, I didn't know, but I knew he was supposed to be big and huge. My dad told me how great he was, and we listened to it and all that and stuff, but it wasn't a rock star-itis moment. But here I was, I thought, what am I going to say to this guy? Like you said, an old guy and all this stuff. So I thought, I'm going to show him I know how to, do a drumstick. And so I said, Mr. Rich, what drumstick do you use? And do you know how to roll them, right? And, because I know how to balance and all. And I got done telling him the whole spiel on how to buy a drumstick, and he's staring at me, and I'm thinking, man, I know what I'm talking about. And he looks at me and says, whatever sticks are up on the drum set when I show up is what I play with. And if you can't play with what's there, you shouldn't be playing at all. And I went,
buddy.
Ooh. Yeah. And that was it. And from there on out, yeah. And I thought, man, I guess he's right. And it's like, and so all those years of, working in music stores, I have to teach kids how to do it. And then at the end I go, but honestly, it doesn't matter, because Buddy Rich says it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
All right. So we picked Buddy Rich over Gene Krupa. I got one more.
Okay.
Buddy Rich or Animal from the Muppets?
Well, hey, I mean, come on, you can't dispute Animal. Animal's pretty incredible.
Animal is cool. All right, we got to talk about this.
Oh,
Do you like my prop? Look how prepared I am.
You're on it, man.
Yeah, I'm a professional at this.
I see.
So let's talk. We have a new album.
Yes, it's called "Give the Drummer Some."
Yes.
The first release was called "Imagine," and that was released a couple weeks ago. And all the proceeds for that go to helping people, Song Aid, and they help people who are in need. At this time, this is really important. So if you can support that, it's really, really appreciated. $1.29 will go a long way to help people who don't have anything or who are not working. So that was the first release, and today,
right?
The second song was released, which is called "She's Got It Going On." So we did a video and we did a song, and that's all released today.
Just for Bananas customers who are watching.
Just for Bananas customers, man. In honor of Bananas. This song was released today. Honor of you, man.
Right? No. I think that's awesome. And it's out now.
Huh?
It's out as of now, right? I think
as of now. Yeah, it's out as of now. And then we'll release 2 more singles over the course of the summer. And then on September 18th, the whole album will be released. You can pre-order it now, though.
Right.
You can get it and you can download it. You can stream it. You can get the CD and you can get an LP. We're doing LPs. I'm so happy. I love
vinyl.
LPs.
I need that.
My favorite medium is an LP.
Yeah. It's funny how many people are coming back to turntables, and we did in our house. Roxanne, of course, decided she needed to have a turntable. I don't know where she heard about it or how she found out, but she said, "Daddy, where's our our record player?" And I went, "I will have to get you one, honey."
I was so happy last year when our niece, Tracy's daughter, said that she wanted a turntable. I was like, "Carlos, she wants a turntable." So we got her turntable. I was so happy. She wants a turntable.
I know, it was great. My cousin got one, and so not only did I get her a turntable, but I of course had to start her vinyl out. Sending my choices down. Getting her started with the right stuff. So
Yes.
So great. I wanted to make sure we covered the album release, and we should probably talk about some of your endorsers, maybe some of your endorsements.
Sure.
Why not? Let's give a few shout outs.
Yes. Shout out to Istanbul. Istanbul IGOP Cymbals. I have. I love Istanbul because they make everything from hand. It's all small batch stuff from hand, which is really beautiful. I've been to the factory. It's wonderful. Each person has a specific job and they only know that job, and only the 2 brothers know all the specifics of every single job. So it's really kept in-house, and I really love them. They have high integrity. They have been so gracious with me, allowing me to create. So I have 2 lines of cymbals. One is called Ohm, and they're really beautiful and dark sounding, kind of. Certainly both of them are fashioned after old Ks, because those are my favorite cymbals as well. And then and I have 15-inch stock cymbals, 18-inch crash, 16, 22-inch ride, and a 20 ride. I said that in the order of the way they're set up on my kits.
Right.
So that's why I was out of order numerically, but that's the way I see it.
Actually,
that's the only way to see it.
All right.
We're thinking drums. We're drummers.
Right.
We have the same size ranges, the sizes in the other line that we've created, my second line, which is called Mantra.
Right.
And the Mantra cymbals are beautiful. Those are brighter, a little bit heavier, for, I would say, louder music that's heavier electronically, so that you can cut through.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that line, same sizes in that line. and I'm really happy with both. In Istanbul, Scott Lyken in Istanbul is incredible. Armin and all the guys are amazing. So I want to give a shout out to them and thank you guys for your support. You guys are beautiful. I love you.
You know, it's funny, you brought Bananas back to them in a way. So we used to do them a while ago, and then sort of just fell off the, you know, attention deficit. Sometimes it's either reps or trends or whatever. And when I saw that you were doing those lines and stuff, I had reached out to them, and it's like, you know, it's been a while. We should have some more stuff. So we're actually going to be stocking all that stuff again back at the store and stuff. So it's kind of fun. Yeah, right?
Thank you. I love it.
Synchrony, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And what else? I think DW, right?
So I got my Gretsch drums.
Gretsch.
You know, I love Gretsch drums. I love the history of Gretsch drums and the tone of Gretsch drums. And my favorite music is jazz. And the music that I love and hold most dear, with the exception of one or two drummers, they all played Gretsch drums.
Right.
You know, except like Buddy and Roy Haynes. Roy played Slingerland, Buddy played Slingerland. You know, there are a few drummers who didn't play Gretsch. Gene didn't play, but you know, all the other drummers played Gretsch. So there's this whole sound and genre that was built off the tone, the warmth, projection, the whole vibe and energy of a Gretsch drum.
Right.
So Gretsch to me is a really beautiful company, and that's my drum company, and that's why I play them, because I love their sound. Beautiful people. Fred and Dinah are alive and well and still involved, and they're amazing, and all the other guys are amazing. They've aligned with DW,
right?
You know, who is a great company in their own right. I endorse their hardware. Not
right.
their drums, but I do play their hardware. They make incredible hardware. But I also love that they, being a drum company, they have respect still for the lineage of the drums. They have respect for Gretsch. So even though they're co-joined with Gretsch, they're not trying to change Gretsch drums at all. You know, and I really so appreciate and respect that, because I was a little nervous at first. I'm like, well, wait a minute, what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
And everybody everybody at DW and everybody at Gretsch assured me that no, we're not changing. You know, they don't want to change us. They just want to envelop and co-join with us. So I really respect that. It's a beautiful thing. So they make fantastic hardware.
Yeah.
I've been playing their hardware for eons. You know, the hardware is great. Their pedals, I remember all the stands. You know, I used to say, oh man, can you guys make some flat bass stands, you know, really light for the drummer that's working all the time and carrying their own stuff, because I was going around New York doing my own gigs, and that bag started to get real heavy, you know, with this big old heavy hardware, and you don't really need it in a small club. And so then finally they came out with this, and I'm looking at them because I got some right here. They came out with the 3000 series. They came out with the flat bass, and it's beautiful because, you know, if you just want some light hardware for a nice little cocktail gig or a gig in a small club, you know, the drums are not so encompassing that they take up so much room in the venue, on the stage, you know, and it's easier on the back of a drummer because you have, you know, not so much heavy stuff to carry. But then when you do need the endorsement of the support of the really heavy duty stuff, they've got it, and it's not budging and not going anywhere. So you got the best of all worlds, you know, with them. I also endorse and love Remo drum heads, and I'm looking at my drums, so that's why I'm looking down. But Remo drum heads, I really appreciate. They have basically the sound of the industry, you know. If you listen to a Remo coated white ambassador, that is a classic sound. The coated has changed a little bit. You know, it's a little bit thinner than the very first ones that they made, because initially everybody was playing the calf heads, you know, and calf heads sound warm and beautiful, but they're so temperamental with weather. You know, if it's cold, they're going to tighten up. If it's warm, they're going to loosen up, you know. So that was becoming just a very difficult situation, especially as people start to travel around more and whatever they were doing. You know, it's hard playing outside. You know, you never know where your drums are going to be at. So if you're in a controlled situation, those are beautiful. But, you know, when you are in a situation that you cannot control the climate, you know, then you need something else. And Remo Belli came up with these heads,
right.
and I guess I'm a visual and oratory as well, because I keep looking at the heads as I'm talking about them. So sorry that I'm looking away from you guys. But yeah, so he came up with the great invention, and these heads, they're plastic heads, but they sound really great. So just a coated white ambassador is a really beautiful classic sound, and then they make all these other heads around that.
Right.
They make different thicknesses of those heads. You can go to an emperor, you can go very thin, you can go to a diplomat. They even have other heads that are kind of in between now. They have the clear heads, they have double heads, they have the control sound heads, which I have those on all my toms right now. As you can see in the back, there's a couple right here. Here's another one. Yep, I got those going. So you have those. I love those heads. So Remo, that's my head of choice. And
thanks, Remo.
right now, huh?
I said thanks, Remo.
Yes, thank you. I love you guys. You're awesome. Chris, hi Chris Hart, and everybody else at Remo.
Well, we didn't talk about this ahead of time. There was no prep. All the people that are watching, we didn't actually prep this interview in any way, shape, or form. We weren't sure. I knew you heard that I had drummer jokes and all that stuff, but we didn't talk about whether or not you might want to play a little.
I don't know how it would sound in here with this little funky speaker.
I just think everybody would probably just dig anything and anything at all.
I think we
anybody comments want to mention? Am I wrong?
I think we were thinking about playing. I wish I had thought about that prior, because I would have maybe set it up with something to make it sound a little better.
We should have probably prepped a little more, huh? We just were winging it.
A little bit.
This is like a couple of friends. We're just winging it tonight. That's all it is.
Yeah, sure. Friends, winging it.
You're awesome.
Oh man, thank you.
I'm sorry I put you on the spot, but I had to put you on the spot.
Okay. I wish would have, if I knew we were going to do that, I would have prepared something, maybe one of those lovely microphones that I just bought from you. I could have hooked that up.
That would have been like prior planning or something, right?
Yeah, that would have been prior planning.
I don't know.
But you know what? Spontaneity is a good thing.
I find that I'm like when I just shoot this and talk. It's a lot easier if we just get together. So I've had a great time. I hope you did too. I'm getting the wrap it up sign here. So I'm getting.
This was awesome. I thank you guys. I love all of you guys at Bananas. Everybody is so helpful all the time. I come in and I get help from you. You're the bomb, because I call you, text you. I just think, oh, I need this, and I text you, and then I realize, oh shoot, it's late. And then you just, hi Cindy, how are you? He's so kind and so nice. So I got to give a special thanks to you and all the guys there, because every time I come in, I get so much help, and everybody treats me so well, and it's a beautiful thing. I appreciate you guys being there. I wish you had a Bananas here in Kauai where I am.
I'm getting close to retirement. The gray hair setting in. Maybe when it's time to retire,
come on over.
Exactly right.
And I want to say that I won't ruin the surprise yet, but I'm making a move. I'm making a move to another stick company, and I'm not going to tell you what this is, but that's going to be revealed very soon.
Oh, I'm excited. How fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
You have to let me know. I'll make sure I stock. I wouldn't want not to have it.
I will. I'll definitely let you know, of course.
All right. So are we going to wrap it up with any good drummer jokes, or are we just going to let them fly? I'm kidding. Cindy, you're so awesome. I so am grateful and appreciative of your friendship and support and the family. And, you know, you're just the best.
Oh, ditto, my friend. Thank you so much. I love you, man.
I love you too. And thank you for everything. And I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome. And thank you for everybody watching. Thank you to Jamie Morton and Shayna for putting this together. I don't, you know, this guy couldn't do it. So they're awesome. And I
appreciate this girl.
Right?
Shayna and Jamie, thank you. Arch Promo. Jamie's at Arch Promo. Check her out. She's awesome.
Yeah, she did a great job and couldn't do it without him. So awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for watching. Thanks for everybody tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave comments. Let us know what we did right, what we did wrong, what you want to see in the future, and I'll do my best to do it. All right, you guys, I'm going to sign off now. You're best. Thank you.
Thank you. You're the best man too. Love you. Bye.
Right, you too. Bye, everybody.